Welcome back, Mother Cuppers. Woo! Week 8. Halfway through the regular season. And, playoffs are starting to take shape a little bit. The winners are winning, losers are they're not doing well. Got the usual crew with us. Plus Nate.
Where is he back there? Oh, I see him. Blending in, kind of.
It's like a Where's Waldo on the PreCup. I shouldn't have pointed him out. Just made people look for him. Anyway, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to start it off with week 7. So let's get the recap underway. Anthony, who do you want to talk about first?
Let me start it off with was almost a record-adding performance this week. Nick versus Chris. Nick only put up 66 points. He's safe from the top 5 lowest all time. You got to be in the 50s to touch that, but it was a pretty bad week. So Nick was macing his way downtown, but it was Chris who was walking fast, and he's windbound. He didn't get much through the air, but Brees's best game of the year took the ground game to another level. Nick had 7 guys in single digits, another 3 guys on bye. What's more there to say? Chris goes to 6-1.
Brutal.
Well, hey, let me take care of Greg and Nate. This was an interesting one. Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who? Step aside, boys. Kate Otten, ladies and gentlemen. Holy shit. 8 catches for 100 yards, some of which were pretty damn impressive. No gloves, just tape. Lots of tape. I'm in. All aboard the Otten gym. Jalen and AJ leaked up and got it going away in New York. Kyron scored again, go figure. T. Higgins looks all the way back. And is Joe Mixon elite? I don't know. Greg had way too much for Nate. Although it's good to see Amari get a tutty on his first game out. Just a handful of plays. Also, Nate kind of needed Mike Evans. Sorry, Nate, that stinks. Greg cruises to 3-4 by about 50, and Nate Bone Daddy Cornwell now won it.
Man. All right. Well, I'll start with Paul and Eddie. Rock out with your Brock out. Had solid performances out of Jacobs, London, and Henry, even though Andrews did outscore Henry on Paul's bench. The pre-cup handle called that one, by the way. Josh Allen put up another gutsy performance for Eddie, though. But Spear the Spear lost his tip. He shipped him out when Anthony sold him a bill of goods.
Ooh.
Not that it would have mattered anyway. Paul continues to grind out victories while CMC is on IR. Look out. Paul wins.
Yeah, let me jump over to myself versus the Prez, Derek Cornwell. At one point during the second half of the 1 o'clock games, this was projected like 165 to 170. We were both kind of going off, but kind of marred by injuries in the second half. Debo played 3 snaps and apparently has pneumonia. Jaden Daniels got a boo-boo, couldn't play anymore, but they were up by 1 million, so he wasn't coming back. The Jets D exploded on the runway, and King Henry ran away with the matchup on Monday night. So, yeah, Derek won. I picked it, so I don't, I was right in the end. But let me go into a little NHJ rant here. This man is just not getting going in this offense. The Cardinals' offense is averaging 18 points per game if you take out the 41 that they scored against the Rams the rest of the season, 18 points a game. You know what happened in that game they scored 41? They threw the ball downfield to Marv, and he had 2 touchdowns, and they scored 41 points. But they just won't do it on a regular basis. The commentators on ESPN Plus don't know don't know why we did that. I think like 65 people saw that game. But they were just consistently baffled why they weren't using him in the offense. Some of you guys have heard average separation scores, like the advanced stat of the year for wide receivers. Comeback routes, crossing routes, post routes. Marv is top 5 in the league of separation on those routes. All of those 3 together only account for 25% of the total routes he's running. He's bottom 5 in the NFL in go routes, which alone make up 25% of the routes he's running. So it's just a real stupid offense. The Cardinals offensive coordinator in the last 2 years has had 1 wide receiver have a 100-yard game. it was Marv in that Rams game. So it's like, what are we doing? I know Logan feels it as well because Kyler's very subpar, other than the odd long run. It's just like when you can just see them, it's like, how do you not know that this is bad? Like it's not going well. Everyone sees it's not going well. I don't know. Let's do better. Marv might get benched this week. He might have to.
You feel better?
Yeah, I'm glad I got it out.
Good. Good.
Like draw up a slant or something.
Yes.
And oftentimes Harrison will end up open, but by that point, Kyler's already got his head down because he's got some deep.
It's funny you say that because at one point when the commentators were like, they gotta get Marv involved. Like this is silly. They gotta try to get him. They ran the next play. Marv ran a slant, was wide open, and Kyler tried to throw a slant to James Conner, who didn't catch it, and they were like, he should have thrown that to Marv. I don't know. What are we doing?
Yeah, no, those guys got to get him involved. They got to get on the same page. And all right, Logan. Anybody else you should talk about this week?
Yeah, I had a matchup with Seth, and rather than dive into the excessive details of the whole thing, just want to applaud Seth. I mean, holy shit! What a call! What a pickup! Just before the game, snagged Rashad Bateman, and my God, was that the pick of the week? 22.1, couple bombs, ended up being like the guy. Zay Flowers nursing an ankle right now, and the couple plays he did have didn't really go well. So Rashad was the dude outside of Derrick Henry, and what a pickup. And Bucky Irvin, of course, he got a late touchdown in the game, and it ended up just being enough to fuck me up. I had a good week, but Seth won. Kudos to him.
Yeah. Then there was the
move of the year, probably.
That's huge.
Jesus. Nate thought so.
He was coming for you.
Damn.
That move swept Nate right off his feet.
Well, then there was the blowout of the week. Dude, where's Lamar? Tanked for Tua. I conceded early. Denver dropped 27 points on Thursday. And Sunday also sucked for me. Andrew used the team I root for to hurt me and rack up points. It was freaking brutal. But I wouldn't go down without a fight. Andrew got the victory, but lost the rod god. R.I.P. Oh, and Lamar is good. Yeah.
How many points did he have?
44.
Yeah.
44. Yeah. Yeah, Lamar's good. So, kudos to Andrew. Good.
Last show, I think I said, he's not just going to keep putting up 40 points.
Yeah.
Man,
at least one more week he did. So, there's that. Anyway, congrats, Andrew. Well done. And that was the recap. And a soliloquy by Anthony Marino.
Sorry. I was getting so mad watching that Monday night game. Oh, my God. I have the pre-cup picks.
Well, let's hear them.
Sure. Nick, you were the low man, 3-3 on the week. 20-16 on the year. I went 4-2. I'm up to 19-17. Logan, another strong week, 5-1.
Yeah.
Nick 3-13.
Yeah.
All right.
Very well done. Very well done. Let's see what we can pull off this week. But first, let's get into the Valley Traders, shall we?
Let's go, boys. Cue the music. Talk about trades.
All right, so we have a couple trades to talk about. The first one happened before last week's game, after the show was recorded, but before the games. And Eddie got involved with Anthony, and much to Logan's dismay, made a trade. You might have heard some of the banter last week on the show. A little back and forth, a little sucking of Eddie's dick, if you will. Yeah. Well, the one who sucked the most, the one who sucked it the best was Anthony, and he got the trade done. It was Tajay Spears, Keon Coleman, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and the crown jewel Amon-Ra St. Brown that Eddie shipped out of town. And in return, got Jalen Warren, James Cook, Khalil Shakir, and Cooper Cup on the premise that he was suiting up. Nope, not yet. Not yet. So, I thought it was a fairly fair trade, honestly. You know, when you look at all the pieces. Logan, what did you think?
I wasn't especially pleased. I had some eggs in that Amon-Ra basket myself, but all that to the side, on paper, on the surface, it's not a crazy trade. At the time, it was fairly alarming because even before the trade went through, I was pretty damn confident that Cup wasn't going to play. And he's playing now and he's playing it great, but Eddie, he needed a win last week. So I didn't really understand the trade all that well. But moving forward, it's legit up for debate who would have won the damn thing. I'd prefer to walk away with him on, all things considered. But if Cooper Kupp stays healthy and James Cook just keeps being James Cook, it's pretty fair.
Yeah. Ant, how you feeling after 1 week with Amon-Ra St. Brown?
Well, I would have liked to have won last week, as I'm now playing against Cooper Kupp, and he already has a touchdown. So at the end of the day, I don't think Eddie would have won if he had kept his team as it was anyway. So really, whatever to him. Yeah, I think it's pretty fair. I think Amon's a little safer than Cooper Kupp, especially if he's going to get traded to Pittsburgh now. But see if that happens. Yeah, Amon-Ra had a great game. Just wasn't enough to get me a win with Jaden Daniels getting injured.
Yeah. Oh, God, that was brutal. Anyway, there was another trade, also including Anthony. This time, he was able to fleece his brother, Nick.
He fleeced himself.
That's fair. We'll get to it. The players involved, Troy Franklin and Travis Kelce on Nick's side, sending them out down to Savannah for Anthony to give away Demario Douglas and Tucker Kraft. Feels like he cracked the formula. Find a tight end who flashes in a week and convince the other team that their tight end sucks a lot, which is super easy to do this year. Your tight end sucks, but look what this guy just did. I'll give you him and this guy, and you give me this shiny thing over here. Yeah, I get
Don't
you.
worry.
I see you, Anthony.
All right. One, yes, that's absolutely a great strategy. I'm glad you noticed it and appreciate it. Two, I did not present this trade at all. I saw my phone buzz that Nick had offered me a trade. I looked at it. I said, accept. And before Nick even realized I had accepted it, he was texting me to let me know he had sent a trade. So, I mean, I don't know. I just if someone throws you a free lunch, you got to take it.
Oh God.
I just don't understand. I mean, this guy has had front row seats this entire season to see every single transaction with Anthony Manarino. And I don't know if you've been keeping track, Nick, but these trades haven't been going very well for the other guy. And so you're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let me get in on this.
Yeah.
What's the worst that could happen? I'm going to go ahead and encourage the rest of the league to ignore all incoming texts from Anthony that have anything to do with the trade.
Doesn't even matter. He's totally reshaped his team.
You've already had like 6 fucking trades.
I made a lot of trades.
You're gonna talk shit about Marvin Harrison all day today, and I'm gonna wake up tomorrow and Derek's gonna have accepted a fucking trade for Marvin Harrison.
It doesn't even matter. Look, I cracked the code. I showed them all. If you get a trade from Anthony in between now and the beginning of the show on Sunday, that's on you. But it's on Anthony really. But if after the show, when I've told you if he involves a tight end, abort mission. Just get out, eject.
Just you wait till Travis Kelce has 2 touchdowns this week and just wait to see what I turn him into.
I know. Oh, man.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. You've all been warned. That's it. That's it for the Valley Traders. That was awesome. Let's kick it over to the Lizard because it's time for This Week in the DOC. Blizzard.
Drinking out of cups, being a bitch.
All right, let's bring this one back with the toilet bowl. Thank you. Is that a pull chain toilet?
Yeah, it's old school. That was the European toilet.
Nice. Oh, then it must come with a bidet.
Oh, it does.
That's very nice. Very fancy. This matchup, I mean, it could be fancy. We'll see how it goes. It's Nate and it's me. It is Yo Soy Fiesta and Tank for Tua. Here's the thing with Tank for Tua. He's got the band back together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tua's starting. Tyreek's in the lineup. He never left the lineup, but now hopefully he's not disappointing in the lineup. But Nate's got Puka back already at halftime, 11.1 points. You gotta love that. If you're Nate, fresh off IR and right into greatness. Damn it. But Baker's lost his weapons. Still in Nate's starting lineup. Is he still that guy? I don't know. Anthony, what are you thinking about this matchup?
Nate's just got a lot of low floor activity here. Stevenson is, oh my God, Zach Moss getting touches anymore? I mean, no, Dobbs in there. He's pretty hit or miss, but he does hit pretty high sometimes. So that's pretty good. Getting Puka back is huge for him. He took Cortland Sutton out of the lineup. That was probably smart. But yeah, pretty low ceiling. I mean, the Baker without his tools now. He's got to go to his backup measuring cups. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, you're getting your guys back, Nick. Tua, and you didn't. Tyreek wasn't out, but you didn't really have him. So it'll be good to get him back. Devontae apparently giving rousing speeches in the Jets locker room after having been there for 45 minutes. So that's good for morale. So you got Najee in there right now. I think that's the safer pick. I think it could be the week Tank Dell goes off finally.
I know.
But I think in this matchup, I think playing it safe is not a terrible idea. So that might not be a bad idea to keep him where he is. Alvin, new contract, Kamara. Let's see if he can do anything against the Chargers D. They play low scoring games. I wish he wasn't staying in fucking New Orleans, but yeah, I got you to win. Not bad.
No. Logan.
I'm happy for Nate that Puka's playing, and he's playing well.
Mm-hmm.
That's unfortunately K-Dot and McMillan, Sterling Shepard, these guys aren't really moving the needle. And Baker's been on fire, but damn, that's tough. Alvin said his hand's been broken since week 4. You hear about this?
Yeah, you don't love that.
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
Yeah, just all of a sudden.
I hadn't either, but
been broken since week 4, week 5. So yeah, don't love that. Tyreek just popped up with a toe or an ankle or something. Don't love that. All the while, Jalen Waddle's dealing with a quad. You never like your track stars to be dealing with a quad.
Mm-hmm.
Not ideal. All that on Tua's first week back. I'm still pulling for you because if these guys are even 80% of themselves, Arizona's D, they can't keep up. They're just not fast enough. I think Kareem Hunt has an excellent day. In Vegas, I've got him, booking anytime touchdown for him. No questions asked. Devontae, whether it hits home or not, attempted to galvanize the locker room in New York, and it probably won't work, but I bet you he sees a whole shit ton of targets this week. And Trey McBride's one of the few things I can count on in Arizona. I still have you with blowout of the week. Nate's just, he's really up against it, man. That's tough. Glad Puka's back, but still it's too hard. Too much.
Yep. Glad Puka's back. That's fun for Nate. Beware of the Anthony trying to fleece you with Travis Kelsey and something else for Puka.
I gave Nate Dalton Kincaid. He was
no.
the first domino.
Listen, that one didn't work out, but I promise you this one's way better. You're going to be way higher on this one.
This guy, Kelsey, let me tell you, he's heating up, buddy.
You heard of this guy? You know what I'm talking about? Travis Kelsey? Jesus. All right.
Anthony's stolen so much we don't even remember the first criminal offenses this year.
I don't think I said it out loud. I am also gonna go with myself on this one. I don't think it's blowout of the week. I think Nate keeps it interesting, but I think I get it. All right. Next, we're gonna do which one we gonna do? We're gonna do Eddie, and we are going to do Anthony. So we got Smear the Spear and Jetta Whippin'. All right. Eddie, your team looks better. I mean, I'll give you that. With the trade you made with Anthony, your team does look more aesthetically pleasing. And you're starting Lockett. I love this because Anthony cannot stand Tyler Lockett. So it might be a fun bet line. Just, Tyler Lockett, 5 catches, 80 yards, a touch.
Easy.
That's how it's going to go against Anthony this week. And Jaden Daniels hadn't practiced yet. Doesn't look great for his chances. So you're starting Bo Nix. Couldn't pick a better week to start Bo Nix against the Carolina Panthers. You gotta love that. And if Harrison and Kyler can figure it out, dude, your wide receivers are super scary. Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Marvin Harrison. And I hadn't even mentioned Justin Jefferson at this moment, 13.4 points, well on his way to a big game. I'm giving it to Anthony. I don't think Eddie has it in him this week, even though Cooper Kupp on Eddie's side already has a touchdown. You love that too. I'm still giving it to Anthony. Logan, how you feeling?
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's going to be, it might be close. I think one of the biggest variables here is certainly Travis Etienne. Whether or not he plays is super, super duper important. And in what capacity he plays, even before he went out, Jacksonville was starting to embrace this RBBC. With Dearness Johnson being in the mix so much, and based on the matchup against Green Bay, I kind of figure they're going to be behind, and so they're going to be having to pass a lot. And my boy Tank certainly doesn't fit the mold. Travis Etienne certainly does, but if he's nursing anything, I'm guessing Dearness is going to get all those, the quick work and the hurry up work and the bullshit work, and that's going to be good for him. And I think that's a huge deal. Can Diggs and Kupp get it done? Right now, Kupp has 10.5. Diggs is going to have a great game, and I think it's just going to be too much. I get Lockett being there because DK's not going to play. Anthony, if you said that, forgive me. I was watching TV. So Lockett should see an uptick for sure, but will he get in the end zone? Hard to say. It's Bo time, baby. Let's Bo. And you probably mentioned that you're going to put Kelsey in your flex. If you didn't, that's what I would do. I just think JJ and St. Brown are going to be too much. I think Bo has a great game. He's probably going to have 75 fucking yards rushing. So,
Man.
yeah,
You were really not paying attention
No,
because I
not
haven't
even
even
sorta.
discussed the matchup yet.
Glad you're
yeah.
tuned in, brother.
Yeah. Okay. Try not to say all that stuff I said.
I was like, what are you talking? When did I say this stuff?
Alicia was doing something funny. But
Well, no, I've given myself the win this week too. Kupp versus Jetta starting off here is a big start. I would love to see a Jefferson touchdown in this second half. That would make me feel good. But then I like Amon-Ra over Diggs, but I do like Diggs in that Colts matchup too. So yeah, once our president, who I guess only works like Hobbit hours, like between 9 and 11 or something, pushes this trade through, I'll have Travis Kelce. I think I'm going to go double tight end again this week. Didn't work out last time, but now it's Travis Kelce instead of Tucker Kraft against the Raiders, who think the Chiefs can kind of get loose against. Let's see. Yeah, is Bo going to go? Is he my starting quarterback this week against the Panthers? They give up a lot of points to quarterbacks. And he's a dual threat guy. He runs. He's going to get some points on the ground, so it's helpful. On Eddie's side, yeah, Etienne coming back off injury. You hit it, Logan. I think they're going to be behind. It's going to be a passing game, and he doesn't really thrive in that offense when they have to get into it. But yeah, I'm terrified of the Bills versus Seattle. The last 4 weeks, Seattle's defense has given up 1,000+ passing yards and 8 passing touchdowns. So that's tough. Josh Allen's probably going to go crazy. Going to have to try to make it up in other places. And Tyler Lockett will score a touchdown in this game. No
Book
doubts.
it.
But yeah, I'm going me.
Oh man, we gonna put that in the pre-cup parlay. See how it goes. Oh,
No, I hate it too much.
Can't put money on that. All right, well you're going double tight end maybe. This guy could also go double tight end. I'm talking about Seth, and he's taking on Greg. So we got attracting flies up against Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Seth looks like he's going to do the double tight end thing with Evan Ingram and Jake Ferguson. And you can't blame him based off the rest of his roster. He's just been beaten up with injuries and then some trades that haven't quite panned out just yet. Man, you gotta love Bijan Robinson and Brian Thomas. So those are 2 bright spots on his team. The rest of it, though, you don't love it. Seth, you might need to make a trade. Greg, though, we've been calling for it for a couple weeks, and it does look like it's happening. He has started his playoff run. That is what I'm saying right now. I think Greg will roll into the playoffs with this roster he has put together right now, barring some crazy trade that changes the landscape of the NFL and these particular teams. Anyway, team looks good, Greg. Proud of you. Anthony, how you feeling? I'm giving this one to Greg.
Yeah, risky last-second move apparently from Seth, throwing Darnold on the bench in favor of Mahomes. Darnold 17.5. Mahomes only has 1 game this year where he's scored more than Darnold has right now. Tough sledding. But let me say, rolling the dice with him this week against the Raiders, not a terrible idea. So the last 2 weeks, Mahomes has not thrown a passing touchdown. The last time that he had 2+ games in a row with no passing touchdowns, 2021. The game after that, he played the Raiders. 2 touchdowns, 260 yards in that one. So could history repeat itself? Get him off the schneid, get him rolling for the year? I hope so. I hope he throws to both Travis Kelce. He's going double tight end. Do you know where Seth got Jake Ferguson from?
Yeah, I am fully aware. Wasn't Bucky Irving also included in that trade?
He was, as was Jonathan Brooks, who's still injured. But I digress. Greg's team is good, though. I think he's going to get hot. AJ looks good. T. Higgins looks really good. Kyron already has fucking 18 already and scored another touchdown.
Yeah.
Kate Otten, sneaky #1 receiving option for the Bucs now for at least a little bit until Baker gets comfortable with the new receivers. Ricky Pearsall, Bucky Irving, 2 tight ends. It's not inspiring a lot of confidence. It's not sparking joy. I'm going with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang to get to 500.
No.
Yeah, that's probably the way it's going to shake out. I think Seth might be a couple pickups short of a miracle this go around. Can't repeat history twice quite like that. Bucky Irving's actually a big call. He's got the big Q. He's missed the past couple practices with a toe, and that's another example of a 3-back committee.
Yeah.
Ravens, and Bucky only got in there very late. It was late production and a late touchdown. So Ferguson at flex against, at San Fran. I mean, they do have a subpar D against tight ends, but Ferguson was just 3 or 4 for 11 yards at Detroit, and they lost by like 40.
That's so many.
So that's tough. And then Greg, on the other hand, this team's just strong. It's stout. He's got strong starters. He's got great depth. I mean, Kyron Williams scored again in the first half here. He'll likely score again in the second half, but that means he's had 9 touchdowns in the last 6.5 games. And then Joe Mixon, 4 touchdowns in the last 4 games. And he didn't play like 3/4 of one of those 4 games. And of course, the Colts are allowing 125 yards per game rushing this year. A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, positive matchups. It's just a lot. It's a lot. And you'll be attracting flies moving into week 9. I've got the Bang Bang Scissor Gang back to 500.
Also, how is Greg still allowed to have Nick Chubb in his IR slot? And also, why is he just drop Cam Akers and activate Nick Chubb?
Yeah.
What are we waiting for?
I imagine by kickoff we'll have something like that happen.
Or respond to my texts and trade with me. Like, whatever.
Goodness gracious. All right, well, let's move on to the next one. We got Nick Manarino and Logan. So, Mason, my way downtown, up against Barks and Recreation. Woo!
Okay.
Saquon is great. On the trade block, but still great. And look for Pickens to really take off now on Logan's side. Now that Russ is slinging the ball. That's so weird to say.
They're a good matchup, though.
They really are. And, yeah, Logan's got Laporta as well. Sam Laporta's on Logan's team. He's doing fine.
How'd you feel about having Travis Kelce?
Where'd you look for Travis Kelce?
Oh, my God. All right, Logan. Love your running back matchups, dude. I really do. Devon Achane looks great moving forward as long as Tua is healthy. Javonte Williams is having a resurgence. What a revelation this guy has been. Can't do anything, but as long as he can follow his blockers, he can make some magic happen. And, yeah. That's all I got on that one.
Right
Who
on,
you
man.
pick?
That's what I meant. God, man. Sorry. I mixed up my notes. I just, went full Ron Burgundy. They're just going to keep on reading the
whatever
prompts.
the prompter says.
I'm Barks and Recreation.
So, Nick, I like your running back matchups, dude. Super great. Probably got the wrong QB in there. That just basing that on recent history. That's where I knew I went wrong. When I read that note, I was like, what did I do here? Anyway, Kelsey's gone. You kicked him out of town. Now you got your Kraft stack with Jordan Love. Wisconsin loving all over Kraft. And Logan, I think you're going to get the win.
It's a good cheese joke.
Jesus.
Good cheese, Joe.
Yeah, you got to start it strong and end it strong. That's the way to do it. Anthony, how do you
Yeah.
think this one's going?
I'm going to go start on Logan's team, which is Parks and
That's the one.
Recreation. So he's got Kyler in there. Miami, number 1 versus QBs so far this year. They've only allowed one passer to go over 200 yards, which is crazy. And Kyler himself has only gone over 200 yards in 3 out of his 7 matchups. So, like we noted in my earlier rant, they're not slanging the ball down there in Arizona. They're handing it to James Conner 6 times in a row, and then Kyler scrambles. So yeah, that might be tough points wise this week. Got kind of a hole in the lineup there right now, Logan, with DK out. Ladd is a little hurt and a little sad. They're not explosive down there in San Diego either, or Los Angeles, wherever the fuck they play now. Bryce is back, so that kind of kills any hope you have for Leggett. Mostert, maybe he comes back to life with Tua now as a solid backup option, but yeah, definitely a spot in your lineup that you'd like to be a little stronger, I would think. Nick has elite matchups this week, up and down the board. It's lined up great for him after a week of a lot of buys. He's going to have a new stack, Love and Kraft. The Jags D is 32nd in the league against both quarterbacks and tight ends. So good week to have that stack. Great projection for Nick. His lineup looks good. A-Chain getting Tua back. Let's get them rolling. DJ Moore against a bad Washington secondary. The only choice is kind of that flex. Does he go Jordan Mason or does he go Devonta there? I don't think the Cowboys are getting Micah Parsons back. So maybe you do roll with Jordan Mason, but yeah, I got Nick in the upset this week.
Yeah, I mean, based on the lineups, it's not so much a upset. Little closer now that Travis Kelce's not on his team. But on Nick's side, Javonte Williams versus Carolina, being last against the run, and Javonte just had 14 for 88, 2 touchdowns at New Orleans. Achane versus Arizona, I mentioned they've got a really slow defense, and Tua and Hill and Waddle are all healthy and playing, which at present moment are all question marks, then I think Achane is going to be one of the main benefactors, because I think things will really open up for him. They'll find him some space, and he'll be off to the races against this slow team. So that's not great. Jordan Mason's got an ankle thing going on, but like you said, he could easily sub him out for Devonta Smith. And then CeeDee Lamb, yeah, he may be running lazy routes, but he had 14 targets last week. So even if they're lazy routes, he's getting 14 targets, and eventually he might wake up and catch a touchdown. He'll probably do it this game at San Fran. It'd be a good one to do it on prime time. Me, on the other hand, no DK, like you said, that's a big deal. And I love Bigsby, I really do. I think he's great, super talented. But with or without ETN playing this week, there's a chance he still doesn't play. But even if he doesn't play, I don't like the game script because they're not throwing him any passes. And like you said, Kyler's going to have to win me this game with his legs, because I don't see it going through the air. I'd love to be wrong on that front, but thus far it's been fairly upsetting. Lord willing, Laporta will see more targets, at least for a couple games with Jameson Williams out. But they just threw the ball like 50 times, and he had like a catch. So not sure what to think there. Chiefs D might end up being my best player this week. At least I hope so. I got Nick. I'm going with Nick.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, let's get into the next one. That's going to be Chris and Paul. Neighbors think I'm selling dope against Rock Out with your Brock Out. So, Chris, both these guys won some games. Chris is 6-1. None of his skill positions are lower than 15 points projected this week. The matchups are great, up and down. I don't love Caleb Williams, though. Not because I don't think he's going to score some points. I hope he doesn't, but I really just don't love him because he's going up against my boys. But I do, however, expect a big game out of Reed and Mr. Kittle. Paul's been grinding him out, man. He's winning some tight ones. Like, it hadn't been pretty. It's been pretty ugly, in fact. But this week, the Tua effect is in full swing. He's got Waddle back in the lineup, and he's been doing all of this without CMC. Paul's still in the hunt, which it looks like he very well could be when he gets CMC back. Good Lord, look out. This week, though, I don't think it's going to be enough. I'm giving it to Chris.
Yeah, Chris, his team is just so damn good. Like, Malik Neighbors hitting was huge, and George Kittle rekindling the flame with all the injuries they got going on over there. DeAndre Swift, huge hit.
He woke up.
And we should have known that all the talent in Chicago would have, created some space for him. Speed demon. One note I have, Jaden Reed, because just something that sticks out. Obviously Chris has a good team, but Jacksonville, second most yards per target in the entire league, allowing 8.7. That's right in Jaden Reed's wheelhouse. That's not good for Paul. That's just another good thing for Chris. JJ.
That was sick.
He's always in bounds. You don't even have to look. Like, he caught it. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
That's if I'm Paul, I'm starting Mark Andrews. I have a hard time not starting Mark Andrews, but I think he'll need Mark Andrews points versus Hunter Henry points in order to win this game. Hopefully Jalen plays. Hopefully Drake can find the end zone. Hopefully Chuba Chuba Bubba can have a good game against Denver. But uphill battle. I got Chris moving to 7-1.
Jesus. Ant, how you feeling?
Yeah, Chris's lineup looks better and better each week. I feel like Brees is coming alive. I think they're falling apart at the seams in New England. Their coach is calling them soft. There was a report at one point this week that Mayo was about to get fired in 48 hours or something. That didn't happen, but maybe that was a fake tweet I saw. I don't know. But no, Chris's team is great. Kenneth Walker against the Bills, as we have seen and I've said several times, their pass defense is really good. Their run defense is terrible. So Walker should get something going in that game. Malik wasn't great last week. It didn't matter, but Jaden against Jacksonville will probably make up for it. Paul's side, I don't like Chuba against Denver. I would also play Mark Andrews. I think he's kind of coming alive as a red zone target at the very least, and I don't think they're going to get a lot of explosive plays against Cleveland. There's probably going to be red zone opportunities there. I'd probably get Mark in there. London's been coming to life. Waddle has a chance to be resuscitated, but Brock Purdy with fewer weapons hasn't been awesome. I think Caleb against Washington probably wins that matchup, but he could also pivot to Stroud against the Colts. That's not a bad option either. I think Chris has enough here to get it done. 7-1. He's hot. He's looking for ring number 3.
Yep. All right. Well, let's get into the last one. Last one's going to be the main event. It's Andrew sitting at 6-1 and Derek at 5-2. It's Dude Where's Lamar taking on Chasing Cups. Andrew took a hit this week, lost Chris Godwin. He had good enough wide receiver depth to where it doesn't look as good, but it still looks fine. Plus, Lamar is a freaking cheat code, so what does the rest of the team matter? However, Derek's team is firing on all cylinders right now, and it is Yeti season. I called for it last week. I said David Njoku was going to be a boss. He was. He's going to continue to be that. And with Jameis Winston now at the helm in Cleveland, I look for an even more of an uptick in his production. I'm going to give this one to Derek this week.
Yeah, he's still got Debo. Is Debo going to play? Did he practice today? Limited?
He got released from the hospital on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Man.
He had pneumonia. They gave him the best drugs in the world. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, if he's going to get in there. If he's not going to get in there, well, he's sitting on Hopkins, who's now a Chief. Wow. Things are coming up, Derek, for sure. Aaron Jones, not a great game so far tonight, only 6 points. Right. So that could be a problem. But Derrick Henry against so we got a lot of Ravens against that Browns team at another 1 o'clock in Cleveland, which last week I said against the Bengals that was probably going to be kind of ugly, and it was. The Bengals offense was not awesome in that game. They got a kickoff return for a touchdown. They really only scored 2 touchdowns other than that. So just early games in Cleveland, I feel like, are generally pretty low scoring. That could be a factor. Outside of that, I like Derek's lineup better. If you take Lamar and Henry out of the equation, I like what Derek's got better, especially if Debo plays. I'm gonna go Derek. Andrew's team, JSN, Taylor against Houston, Connor against what's actually a pretty good Miami defense, weirdly, and then the Rashad White committee. No offense, it's a dark throw. Yeah, I'm sticking with it. I got Derek.
All right.
Yeah, I get it. Debo without Ayuk, CMC. Seems like a matchup they can exploit. Dallas's defense has been abysmal thus far. Njoku, though, with Winston. Watch out for that guy. He might have a bunch of targets. Downfield. Big-time targets. Njoku might go off. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but JK has kind of been not so much the past few weeks.
Loggins.
Yeah, something's going on there. I might kick the tires on putting DeAndre in there over JK. I mean, I know the projection for JK is great, and New Orleans defense has been trash.
Yeah.
So it's probably safer to keep JK in there. Maybe I'm taking back what I just said. But I would like to see JK have a little resurgence because he's kind of falling off right now, which is weird because he's easy to root for. I agree with everything you said on Andrew's side. Plus, Zay Flowers, I mean, that's partially why his roster looks the way it does. But Zay Flowers' ankle's still a problem. I don't think he was at practice today, non-participant. And you don't know if McLaurin's going to have – I mean, I know Mariota had a great second half for all intents and purposes, but you don't know if McLaurin and Mariota are going to have the same chemistry that McLaurin and Daniels had. So I also have Derek taking down Andrew this week. They'll both be 62.
Damn. All right.
Who'd you pick, Nate?
I took Derek.
All right.
All right.
A lot of uniformity on these picks this week.
Yeah, we didn't move away too much. I took Logan in an upset.
Yep.
Not an upset, but projection upset
Records
anyway.
wise.
Anyway, that was it. That was all of them. This is what we said.
Mama said, don't give up. It's a little complicated. All tied up, no more love. And I'd hate to see you waiting. They say it's all been done, but they haven't seen the best of it. So I got one more run, and it's gonna be a sight to see.
All right, guys. So haven't had any luck yet on the 12-pack parlay the whole league's been putting together. We gotta really reel that in a little bit. Pick some things that was a little bit higher probability. There's 12.
We don't need to be laying 2.5 points ever.
All right. But even though we didn't hit on those, the inaugural PreCup parlay, that
Look at us.
that was a success, man. We turned $15 into $75. So we thought, why not? Let's do it again. We're gonna pick 3 more, and if you want to follow along at home, maybe you win some money. Hopefully, we're right. I'm gonna start it off. I am taking Kyle Pitts over 3.5 receptions. It just feels right. He's been targeted more than that the last 3 weeks by a lot. So hopefully he can turn some of those targets into some catches. 4 I don't think is too much to ask for. That one's sitting at -150. So, Logan, what you got?
I like it. Yeah, I wanted to keep it pretty clean, pretty neat. So I'm going with Joe Mixon, anytime tutty against the Colts. I think I mentioned it earlier, but the Colts are allowing 125 yards rushing on the year per game. Doesn't matter who. And Mixon scored 4 touchdowns in the last 3.5 games, whatever the case may be, or 4 total games this year, whatever it is. Dude's a scoring machine, and they hand him the ball a lot. If he has 30 carries, I would not be surprised.
All right.
Joe Mixon.
So anytime touchdown for Mixon, that's sitting at -185. Anthony, how are we rounding this out?
We're gonna close it out here with one that's slightly on the plus side. I think +110 was it?
That's right.
So Amon-Ra over 6.5 catches. Jameson Williams suspended for 2 games for mystery substance. Pretty weird. I actually heard a rumor that it might have been for Viagra, which is pretty funny because Ocho Cinco had that clip going around from a podcast earlier this year where he would take half of Viagra during a game to get his blood flowing. And I just find it hilarious that of all people, Jameson Williams saw that and was like, I'm doing that immediately. And he got suspended for it. So I just choose to believe that's true. But yeah, hopefully opens up a couple extra targets for Amon-Ra. And yeah, Tennessee's got a pretty decent run defense. So hopefully Detroit's throwing and he cleans that up pretty easy. Yeah, let's make some more money.
Right on. So you add those together, it totals out to +439. We're going to throw $60 on it. That was the profit from our parlay last week. $60 will pay us $323 Buckaroos. So,
That's good.
oh, God, I hope we get that. That'd be freaking cool. All right, gentlemen, anything else to talk about before we sign off?
No, playoff hunt is on now.
Sure.
No.
Let's go.
You know what? One more thing, and just real quick. There was a nomination for the new commissioner of the league, and Logan's name was thrown out there. Second, third, and, Logan, I think you do an awesome job. That's not to deter anybody else from throwing their name in the ring.
Eddie.
Yeah. So, get your name out there, get some recognition, and run up against this guy. I think Derek set the deadline for October 31st, so we'll vote then in honor of election year. So,
Sure.
yeah. But that's it. That is all we have. Guys, nothing but the best of luck this week, and until we see you next week, stay safe out there.
Always had a vision, always had hopes. Had to have hopes for a living. Didn't know how. Always had a feeling I was gonna be that one anyway. Always had hopes.
Hey, when you're the president, can you push trades in less than fucking 2 business days?
I wish your mom was on my team.
I'm sure
I need
that would
need so
you
bad.
changed the course of the universe with that text, because that would not have happened if you didn't text me that.
That is fucking brutal to say.
I'm big on selling high on pieces that I don't need.
That's the funniest thing.
Big on
'cause part
selling
of, like,
high. Most prefer selling low. Just get out while the getting's good, but not me. No, sell high.
Baby.
oh my god.
I have no faith. I have zero faith. I'm shell shook all of a sudden. Take a quick break. Be right back. Big ass fly.
I saw a big bug.
That's a big bug. With
He said,
wings.
he said, "Oh my god," and then went and got a fly swatter. Never good.